Okay, here's the problem with getting artisans to do your Disney live action remakes. The other big artisan who made a Disney disaster is Chloe Zhao, famous for making The Eternals, Nomadland. I've looked into her past filmography a little bit. Surprising how well she's done for herself, given the fact that she made Eternals. She had The Writer, which is probably the movie that put her on the radar for Marvel, even though they are putting their best foot forward. Like even James Gunn and even Joss Whedon doesn't really count, I guess. Kenny Boy, I don't know, Ryan Coogler. You can tell that they are still a little restrained by the Marvelness of the movie or the Disney remakiness of the movie in this case. But sometimes it is them. Like it sounds like the reason that Eternals is because of Chloe Zhao. Like she really wanted this to work out. And so she was the one that had the idea that she pitched to Kevin Feige, that Kevin Feige got really excited about and all that. So like they can have a big influence. It's like a weird double-sided coin of like, if the director does what they know how to do best and just disregard all the kind of like baseline norms, you get something like weird ass Man of Steel, and you get a Zack Snyder problem where like now everything has to be in that weird style that they made or people get pissed. Or you have the problem of like, if they don't have enough of that like push, you get a generic ass movie. And I feel like Eternals kind of has both problems at different points. Like it is both generic in a very horrible way and also Chloe Zhao in a very strange way. When George Lucas and Steven Spielberg got hired by studios to take their big swings for Indiana Jones and Star Wars, they were making new shit. It wasn't based on anything. Like Indiana Jones is now like, you know, complete remake fodder and all that. It's had its own tumultuous history. But like when they began, they gave these people the reins to make their blank check movie as a risk, with the huge payoff being like decades and decades. All
right. Pull the reins for a moment.
Yeah, sorry.
No. I'm not saying you can't talk about this.
Yeah.
So first things first, Indiana Jones, it's not based off of anything specific, but it is based off of the old adventure serials.
Star Wars has
they
the same
were very
thing,
inspired by other things. So it's not like they were just walking up, hey, I have this brand new idea that's complete. Like it's new characters, it's a new setting, sure, whatever. Yeah. But it is still heavily inspired.
Yeah.
Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
But that's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
Is like
the other thing, Kara,
what
is that you need to understand Steven Spielberg and George Lucas didn't just walk out with no experience under their belt or no accolades. Like Steven Spielberg had made Jaws, and George
had
Lucas
a pretty good collection of like short films.
Yeah, he did short films, and he also did American Graffiti, which did very, very well.
Well,
so
yeah, but American Graffiti is exactly the type of indie movie that they're hiring from.
Yeah.
For these kind of remakes, like the Colin Trevorrows of the world with Safety Not Guarantee. He was basically did that movie and then got lifted into the studio system.
Keep in mind, specifically, I think with Star Wars, and maybe a few other movies that George ended up making, George financed it himself. He didn't really have a bunch of overhead producers because he went to get the money himself for it.
Yes.
And so there's also less risk on the studio's end because it's all in his shoulders. The studio isn't taking a hit for it.
Sure, yeah. The 70s were different in terms of film financing and all that. And so like, yes, there are differences, right? But like the main creative difference is still that like these guys got to make something that was heavily influenced by things that they enjoyed, but was still captured at a new show. And we're totally allowed to do that today. We could totally take these sorts of like popular culture influenced styles of films and make just new versions of them with new interesting characters and all that. There's got to be plenty of people with ideas like that. And a lot of directors also have great original ideas as well. And it's just tethering them to these things is not good, is what we've learned, because there are too many rules and regulations. Sometimes they break out. Like I just mentioned Ryan Coogler, he had the fucking biggest movie of the year this year and it was original. That's also heavily inspired by a lot of popular culture film, but it's in a new case. Sinners is a horror movie, but it's got a lot of charm and care put into it. You don't need to have something insanely original, you just need to have something original and good. And it's just, you want one of these to really showcase what a director that you really like can do on a larger scale with a bigger budget. The problem is that there's just so many interfering entities. And maybe this is not putting it on the director. Rob has complained a couple times about the Chris Stuckman Madam Web review, and I'm kind of making the same argument here, where it's like, yeah, the director also has a big hand still in dealing with this stuff and kind of like the changes that you make to the story. So it's not entirely off their shoulders. But I just wish we could have one of those big swings again in this system. And I get that maybe we won't. That's the way it goes with the money.
It's interesting though, like you look at these directors with this like amazing backlog of films, and then the moment they get picked up by Disney, their IMDb scores start dwindling down lower and lower. It's weird how that happens.
Oh man, that happened with another movie this year. Let me check.
Well,
you're not going to know about this? Sure.
I will say this, as far as the Chris Stuckman thing, I'm not going to say that the directors are like never at fault. But like his thing was like, oh, directors are never at fault. It's always the studios. The directors are always right all the time, and the studios just get in the way. The studios do get in the way sometimes. Sometimes you need a studio to reel in a director that's going a little bit crazy. And when you don't have that, you get things like Strange Magic.
Or Megalopolis, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair with Megalopolis, he financed that whole thing himself. Also, I guess George Lucas did finance all of Strange Magic himself. But I don't know, maybe Dean Fleischer Camp will get to make a funny family movie that has nothing to do with anything, and that would be cool.
That would be cool.
You know what else, Karif? If I had a nickel for every Chris Sanders movie that got a live-action remake this year, I'd have 2 nickels, neither of which I'm going to see.
You know what? I'll see that one too, bro.
And Sunflower wants to see it, and I'm like, but I have the movie at home. I don't know if she wants to see it, then I might see it.
We live without the Canadian snark of Jay Baruchel coming out of the mouth of the main character of How to Train Your Dragon.
It's not even that bad. It's not even that bad. No, it's not.
Like, it's not that bad, right? That's why the movie's fucking good. It's because he's not, like, horrifically annoying when he's saying that stuff.
He's supposed to be nasally. He's a weak kid.
Not only is he nasally, he plays a little bit of the voice of reason, or just has that little tinge of nihilism that I feel like really sells us on that kid's character.
Yeah, he's a realist.
Yeah, and so, like, that's where the comedy comes from. Where the fuck is the comedy in this new movie? What the fuck?
The comedy is all the people that are gonna watch and be like, well, that was the exact same movie as before. I'm also worried, Karif, that if this How to Train Your Dragon remake does well, which I foresee it doing very well, that Universal will be like, oh, so what other well-loved
Sinbad Legend of the
Sinbad, we're gonna get
remake,
a remake of a live-action Shrek. Well, a lot of their movies sit around. Yeah, Road to El Dorado.
Road to El Dorado would be interesting, mostly because the Nostalgia Critic once said it might be better in live action.
Yeah, maybe, but then you have to deal with, like, you gotta really navigate the channels of telling a thing that won't be, like, offensive or stereotypical, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that I have any issues with the original, it's just somebody will find an issue and I'll
honestly,
be like,
yeah, it's a little weird. The stuff about the god stuff is probably a little rough, but I think the, like, presentation of the culture, especially if they're supposed to be, like, an outside force, is, like, it really comes back to Zekel Khan.
We're gonna do a live action Over the Hedge, man. We're gonna get
action Over the Hedge, baby.
We're gonna get the freaking HOA lady back in here, you know? I mean, like, I don't know. It's just, man, Jeffrey Katzenberg would not have allowed this, but he doesn't own the company.
But he would have made Quibi. Rob, don't give too much credit to the man who made Quibi.
Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Yep.
And it's just worrisome. They will do it. They will continue to do it.
I don't know.
And then think about Warner Animation is going to start doing live action remakes of their stuff. They're going to do a live action Iron Giants or a live action Anastasia.
Titan A, baby. Titan A. Oh,
yeah.
God.
It's great. We're heading into a very interesting time. DreamWorks is kind of showing up late to the party. On the other hand, Karif.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I hate Disney more than I hate DreamWorks, and I am conflicted between wanting to stick it to Disney and also not wanting to continue to support live action remakes of animated properties. Like, what do you do? What do I do, Karif? maybe this will be a good remake. I mean, they have all the original filmmakers and everybody coming back to doing it. It's not like these live action remakes where they get like a different creative team and maybe they'll have like 1 or 2 people from the original show up. But like this is basically the entire original creative force behind those movies is coming back to direct it. And so maybe it might do better. It seems like these designs and this world has translated better to live action than the Disney stuff.
Yeah, they're filming it in a lot of like wide open locations, from what I can tell. I haven't seen like the crux of the village yet. The live action How to Train Your Dragon movie looks better, but I do have all the obvious reservations about it.
It looks like a shot for shot remake. They said
that would be
when
better
they announced
than this
this,
other shit.
They said when they announced it that it was going to be a readaptation of the stories and not of just a straight remake. It's like I'm watching the trailers for it.
We're gonna get Hiccup talking, baby.
Well, Hiccup does talk.
No, sorry, Hiccup, not Hiccup. Fucking Toothless.
But I'm watching the trailers for it, and I'm like, there's so much CGI in this shot that it looks like the animated movie. The same exact shots. I have every single shot of How to Train Your Dragon imprinted in my brainstem, Karif. And all of these shots are the same. Toothless looks like they
Frost is gonna be in this movie? Damn!
Yeah, Nick Frost is in it. Gerard Butler is also coming back as Stoic. So you have shades of the live-action Lion King in here, because they got James Earl Jones to come back. So, you know, I'm not saying that Nick Frost and Gerard Butler won't fit into those roles, because, I mean, visually it looks nice. I am a sucker for fantasy movies, okay? So I'm already predisposed to want to see it, but if the reviews come out and they're overwhelmingly positive, I might consider it, but we'll see. It has to be like really good reviews though. I'm not going to see it if people are like, yeah, it's okay. I'll just be like, all right, well, I have the original at home in 3D nonetheless, so I don't need to go see this movie. But I do like Dragon Scare.
Rob said
what? No, I said I have a free ticket to any movie, and it doesn't matter which one. I didn't say I was going to use it for this. It's going to be an upsell anyway. I really hope that... Okay. I'm gonna shut up. Did you find the thing you were looking for? I'm running out of talking points.
What thing was I looking for?
Wait, did Chris Sanders did work on How to Train Your Dragon, right?
No, he fucking directed the thing.
Yeah. Okay, Dean DeBlois is the one that's coming back. He also wrote for Lilo and Stitch. Boy, it must be a very strange year for these guys.
It's, you know, it's been 20 years or whatever. They want to make some money.
It's been 15 years since How to Train Your Dragon. It's been over 20 years since Lilo and Stitch. Like, are they gonna do live action remakes of the next two movies?
Do remember. Yeah.
Are they gonna do a live action Leroy and Stitch, or Stitch has a glitch? Or I watched the episode of the TV show with the funny angel Stitch character in it. Are they gonna do that?
I would be fine with them doing a Stitch the series. I don't think they will. They definitely won't even have the funny rabbit.
Why is
Reuben
Dean DeBlois hanging out with J.J. Abrams?
Alright, I remember what I was going to talk about, but it was just like basically just the people who made Captain Marvel had a bunch of Sundance movies that came out that people liked quite a bit. It's kind of a funny story. But yeah, they waited 5 years, came back with Freaky Tales. People tend to think that it's okay, at least, but it doesn't really have the same like oomph that their previous films did. And that's what I'm worried about with like every director that does this sort of like goes into the studio system, gets hired by Disney, gets spat out or whatever.
There are exceptions to the rule, okay? I'm not saying it's every time.
Yeah, it's just, it does suck.
Well, I think the only live-action remake Disney has on the horizon is the Moana one, and that's being bankrolled by Hollywood's newest success turned embarrassment, which is Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, you could say that the hierarchy of the Disney live-action remakes is about to change.
You and your running jokes, Robert. Okay, the guy who's directing this is the guy who directed the Hamilton version that you can watch at home on Disney Plus. Yeah, the guy who's directing the Moana remake is directed Hamilton and a bunch of television shows.
Oh, he does a lot of musicals. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense that they would get him.
And he's got that Lenny Man connection.
Well, I guess that's it for me. This is a separate video now. So
I can't fucking believe that we did that.
It's fine. It's not that much over.
Go see Marcel the Shell with Shoes on.
Yeah, go see that. Film. It was quite enjoyable. It has the lady from the talk show on it.
Go see Bring Her Back. That's true. A lady from the talk show. Leslie Stahl is in the movie. Go see Friendship. That movie's hilarious. If you've seen anything by Tim Robinson, you may know him as the 55 burgers, 55 fries guy. That guy has a movie where he just does that for an hour and a half, and it's awesome. You go see that. Venetian Scheme's coming back out. That's the new Wes Anderson movie.
Go see Twilight.
Yeah, watch Twilight again. That's fun. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff to still be excited about. But, you know, when I watch something like this, you gotta know that I also watch some other shit. I'm actually kind of interested. There's been a trailer for this movie called Materialists that Rob has seen because I think it was in front of Death of a Unicorn that I'm kind of actually interested in. It's like this super chick flicky rom-com, but it feels like it's trying to be ascended. It's about Dakota Johnson, and she's a wedding organizer, you know, a matchmaker.
Sunflower.
High society.
Sunflower really wants to see this movie.
And Chris Evans plays this like down on his luck guy that is her ex or whatever, and he's like really dealing with his like friends and stuff. But she's also into Pedro Pascal, who's like the super rich guy who's got his shit together. And she's torn between the two of them, and she can't decide. Like that's such like a, oh my god, this sounds like the most boring movie ever kind of idea, right? But it's written by the lady that made Past Life, which is this super like melancholic movie about this lady who like wants to have this relationship with this guy, but they just never do. They never find the time over like 20 years. And
it is morally...
I'm interested to see one of those like super genre-y styles of movies, like I was talking about, but told through the lens of like actual emotion. Imagine one of these like crazy, stupid chick flicks like actually having an emotional impact on you, and that's what I'm excited for about this movie.
It is morally okay to make fun of Kara for watching A24 movies.
Fuck you!
No, I mean, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I know, like I said, Sunflower's excited, and I'm glad you're excited. Maybe there'll be some funny twist here, where it's like, ooh. Otherwise, you might as well just watch New Moon, which I don't even know what that means yet, but I will find out soon.
Think about, like, what if New Moon was actually good and affecting, and that's what I'm, like, hoping for.
No, you said it was peak. You said it was Kino.
New Moon is peak, but, like, not like that, you know?
No! They should get Celine Song to direct the New Moon remake if they do that.
Oh my god, Rob. This is the stupidest, best idea you've ever had in my life.
We did it, chat. I've come up with a single idea.
This is what it takes to be a producer in Hollywood.
I'm
Rob.
officially an ideas guy.
You are exactly. You could be a producer, Rob. You could do it. Bring Her Back is made by YouTubers, Rob. They're kind of famous YouTubers, but they are good at making movies apparently, because people really like that film.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end the recording here. So thank you guys for listening to this ramble. We do actually have a debate video that we want to do, but we'll get to that when we get there. Chew on that. It's gonna be a good one.
God damn.